Hello world, this is JWP, J Word Primo Beats, coming to you live from my bedroom. Check me out on YouTube at JWP Tube, Twitch, JWP Stream, Facebook, JWP Meta, Patreon, JWP Patreon, and Discord, link in description. I'm going to be looking at some SynthEdit state variable filter calculations. Now the point here is to get steep slopes. It's a lot of S's. And it'd be more useful if I demonstrate opposed to describe. So what I want here is just a starting container. We'll call this SV slopes. And then don't believe we need an inner out. I'm just going to save as. Save this under experiments, I suppose. Folder SV slopes. And project name SV slopes. So yeah, the point here is to calculate what is needed to keep a consistent slope on the state variable filter. If I remember correctly, the state variable I want to use is this one, opposed to that one, because this one, although it has, how would you say, EQ cramping, it still has, it has a better overhead. Whereas the opposite one, the state variable filter here, when we sort of link these together, they create a kind of boost. Instead of cramping, they boost, which is worse. I wouldn't say worse, it's just as bad, I imagine. So what I want to do now, we'll get rid of that input, and we'll get a waveform in. And I just want noise here. Brown noise or pink noise. And here we just want a set of stages, and we'll go to 12, see how good we can get at 12. I don't even know how many I'm even counting. We'll start them all at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and more, 12. All right, so what has to happen here, I just need to look at my project. What has to happen here is, okay, let's get some other stuff happening. I have to have one that's a low pass and one that's a high pass. So also what I want to do is perhaps contain this and put the modifier right inside. Do I want to do that? Yeah, because if we put it externally, it won't calculate properly, going from volts to hertz. So I do believe this is a float somewhere. Converter. So float value hertz to octave. We want that in here. And of course, we're going to want this 12 times. Hopefully I'm doing this properly. Instead of linking things later, let's do them now. Just looking here. Best way to do this, it's got a container here, and then just need any sort of volts output. Of course, there's none there. Do some math. Doesn't matter which one, we just need a volts input here. And output. Get rid of this, and then we'll call this pitch, or volts, hertz, center. Okay, so we'll go like that. Perhaps we'll just keep going like that. It's just a lot to think about, as I also need to have a additive with a subtractive, right? Strength mode. Okay. And this is going to take a little while, I imagine, so this might be a bit of a long video. Okay, so let's start here. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to pass these values along without having to constantly be doing a bunch of patching. So we got 2. And this goes to pitch, and then we'll have 3. Rather, from here we can have, say, 4. Let's connect that, and then delete retain wires, and then bring in like so. Just copy this out and get rid of this one. Of course, we're mixing a connection here and there. Let's sort of keep these things similar. As well, I also should be doing resonance, so let's just back this up a bit here. Mode can generally stay the same. I will call this resonance. Need a little bit of room. So, well, we're going to need another one up here. Oops, another one up here, which didn't translate. Of course, we're going to need an output, but that's not really too big of a deal. Okay, well, let's just continue along here. And what we can do, of course, duplicate that. Yeah, let's keep these open a bit for now. No, perhaps not. Okay. Center to center, resonance to resonance. See, I feel like I've done this before. Getting deja vu. Connect this one to that one. Okay, so that looks good. I mean, I'm doing something a little different, so I might as well just roll with it. Okay. So in this case, I actually want to delete one from here. And then and then I want 5, so 2 3s will work best. And at this point, I should connect them before moving on. Connect this here, that there, and then just unwrap these. I'm not sure when I did this before and what it was for, because the only thing I've been working on is this project, so it must have been a part of this project. Okay, so that's 6. And then if I copy that, I can now delete one here. So that's 6. I gotta do 12. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if I want 7, my best would be 8. I do believe what I was trying to do before was make an EQ or a band shelf, and I was having trouble, so that wasn't really working very well. At the same time as well, I'm going to have to have an internal filter or an internal. It'll make more sense once it comes together. Okay, so I wanted 7 and an 8. First thing I want to do is connect these. Then these. Let's get rid of one of these. 8, now I need 9. So best would be 10. Rather 2 5s. Connect them together. Delete 10 wires. Of course, everything's all crooked. So that's 10. It looks like I only copied 1/2, or didn't copy at all. Then get rid of 1. That gives me 9. 10. And the best after that would be 6 for 12. And I imagine that's going to be quite a steep slope. And hopefully it works out. Okay. Delete these. Hopefully it's not crooked. Looks fine. No, it actually is crooked, I think. Which is annoying. There we go. Okay. And there's my 11. All right. So this now, in fact, goes to switch. I'm going to save here. It's so fast to save right now. Switch flow control 1 to many. And of course, many to 1. We'll start with that. And we'll get a list happening. Okay. Of course, everything's wrapped. It's a little bit annoying. And this is low pass. Let's go with the slider here. Go like so. And then horizontal, low value of, say, it doesn't really matter at this point. So 20,000. That's where it's supposed to be, 0 to 20,000. And then, yeah, everything's pretty much all wrapped up here, which is kind of annoying. That should be okay. I think there's too much of a space down here. And then we start connecting. So resonance, resonance. In fact, let's do a anchor and pylon just to keep it neat. that's done. Now we can do one for the center. And before I connect those, I really feel like perhaps I might want to. My mouse, microphone good, sort of. Not very loud, but yeah, there's nothing happening in my vicinity, so it should be quite decent. Center. Let's get another one happening. Let's do some center connecting here. But yeah, I want them kind of all running at one time before I put in the rerouter. Okay. So now let's get it running live to everything. Let's actually break out frequency analyzers. We don't really need it that high. Let's go negative 40. That should be enough. And they kind of be a little bit smaller. I don't really think I'm going to be using the panel. Let's go 30, negative 30. 30. It actually doesn't really need that much either, but yeah. Anyway, let's check it out. It needs to be changed. I'll go through them again. Which I do want them running all at once. Not sure how well the system's going to handle all of these analyzers. Okay, those are all lined up. Now I want them all running. Well, I guess I can move these back up for now. They just kind of seem messy. Looks like I missed one. Okay. Okay. Now that should be all running through, give it a save, and then we'll activate this system. Get rid of that. That should have stayed there. Just didn't know what it was for. It's actually the other side of that. I thought it was just a copy of that. 12 of these. Okay, so what I want to do is I'll connect these here for now. And we'll just go through them as 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And on this side, I just want 5s for now. 5, 5, 5, 5. This is the resonance. This will help with this slope. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. I guess it is faster to use the keyboard. Okay. So those are all in. I'm just going to drop a container in to update this naming. And yeah, let's take a look. Okay, our slope is kind of low. Let's bring it up a bit. Let's go 1,000. And we'll see how much of a roll-off we get. We get quite the steep amount of roll-off. And of course, I set it up bogus. Let's redo these because I want to see more of the slope. Controls, and we'll go frequency analyzer. I just want to copy the numbers. It's negative 80 to 20, negative 80 and 20. Okay, and then I gotta redo that all again. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. It's supposed to be at a K, and it looks fine, in fact. But I do want more surgical cuts, right? Okay, so let's look now. It actually doesn't seem that bad. However, let's see what happens when we sort of kick up the Q. And this will be, we'll say, with 7.5 and 7.5. We should have sort of a peak, but it's on all of them now. Except for the first one. Let's try 6. So I'm not really sure we need the resonance. So we're not losing that much around the center. So if we look, we're coming in. I don't even know what these mean because I can't see them. So out of K, we got about, the double line right before, somewhere around here. Just gotta keep that mental image in. We head down here, put it back to 5. So we're getting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then down here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish. So we can get a little bit of pull out of that if we wanted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's check that out with the impulse, which is going to be even a little bit more of a headache. Okay, so what I can do is I can just containerize this. In fact, maybe it's time to start using this. As a because we're never going to get a super sharp. It's still 500 over a bleed. Okay, well, let's leave all this connected, and what I'll do is I'll run through them like this. Let's turn it off. Let's do a save. Oops. Okay, so now what's going to happen here is I will replace this guy instead of the pink noise. We'll use the impulse, and I guess we'll need a trigger for that. Let's copy this, make that square. And our speed is what? What is our speed for that? It's here, 1.12553. Okay. And then go impulse response. We have the impulse, the impulse in, and the signal in. And then we'll have our selector. And it'd be nice for these to have numbers. We'll just connect this one last, and it'll update its list. Okay. It's too fast. It still has noise. Pink noise. Okay. We want that to be pulse. I thought I selected pulse already. I guess not. Okay, so move this around. We get a response, and we're currently at the last value, and it actually looks like got more headroom than we want. Jump back down to 1. Step through them 3. It actually looks like it's increasing at the point there. Just not what we can do. Well, we're going to the opposite here. What does that look like down here? And without it? And we do have a bit of a bump. Which is mildly disappointing. So the question is, what do I want to do about it? Because if we look, it actually doesn't seem to create a bump for the pink noise. It's supposed to be pink noise. I don't know why. No. Pulse. Like, I'm not really seeing the bump. Is as it is, I'm going to call it there. I'll save that as, this is the experimental version here. Let's now copy this and start to develop the actual. So this will be, what is this? Low pass. SV low pass. Then I can get rid of all these tools. I'll leave resonance in, or should I? Well, I still have this state, so I'll just remove it. And they're all default 5 anyway. So what we have is center, right? And default 5. Default 5. And then I want a input. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And that. Exports are all other outputs are all gone. Okay. What is this? This is just our generic list entry. Rather, it was used to be polls, but now it is stages. That's our center input. Okay, so now I just got to wire in all the inputs. Sure, I'll be fine like that. Actually, let's see what that looks like on the low end. Before moving on. That. Okay, so we're set at this one. I want to see what that looks like down low. Because I do have some quite a bit low things. Yeah, it just looks like barely anything, eh? Cut off at 35. It doesn't make it totally out to about 100. But that's not going to be the booster, though. This is just sort of the cutter, right? So 35 less 15. We'll just say 15. Still nothing. What about 0 then? What do you think of 1? It's as good as it gets. Besides, this will actually be a high pass, right? High pass? No, it'll be a low pass. That's what it's going to be. I almost want to build it just to see. However, I prefer practical application, so let's get it all done. And then this is just going to be a whole lot of patching. I might have thought to include a mode trigger, and then I could have just triggered them all instead of having to rebuild or go through them all and select them all. What's the third option? I think it's a band pass, right? And a band reject. Well, too late for that. Gonna have to manually go in and fiddle with them all. Let's get some naming done here. We want a name, please. Okay. So now we want an IO mod rather. And we'll have input. How does this go? Center. We're not using resonance for now. That's it, I guess. Like that. This can now go. And output. This is actually called, what is it? Stage. And output. And I actually want to make sure everything's sleeping properly. Because if I'm sending the center, this actually needs a converter here as well. Just stick it in here. This is a float converter, which is already set, hertz to octave. want to put this here like so, and we'll go 20,000. And I'm going to save and activate. We actually need an input signal too. So just throw anything in here. And it's currently don't have a choice. I can set it on the outside. We'll set it to, say, number 6 here. And let's check these other ones, make sure they're sleeping. Except for 6. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A little bit on the greedy side. It's just disappointing. But the other ones appear to be sleeping. Just what we need. Let's look at the oops. Lock that. Overall usage. More debug. We're looking at 0.4. Ouch. It's going to be quite greedy. Okay, so let's get rid of these things. That's all I wanted to check to make sure that it was others were sleeping. Greatly disappointing that it's so greedy. Okay, and that's it. Just got to copy it and make a high pass version, which is just mainly jumping in and clicking and changing. As I said, it might have been a good idea to include a global. This is likely the fastest way to do this. Thinking about a faster way or integrating one will actually take longer. Question is integrating it into a build faster or redoing the default? And of course, I got to error check all of these. All right. Go back to the top, and now I gotta check them. Make sure they're all high pass. Okay. All looks good. It's gotta rename this one SV high pass. And there we go. That's what it gets for now. Check me out on YouTube at JWPTube, Twitch JWP Stream, Facebook JWP Meta, Discord, link in description, Patreon JWP Patreon. Thanks for watching. Until next time.